Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Tee to Green Golf Podcast. We are really excited to bring this episode to you today. It is volume 2 of an episode that was part of our original launch. And I could not be more excited to bring this to you at this particular time. We're going to talk to my friend, my fraternity brother, my golf partner, founder of Deuce. And you all know Deuce by the Am Tour, Deuce Apparel, none other than the trailblazer in the golf industry, DeLavallade. Frat, good to have you with us this afternoon. Thank you for coming back to Tee to Green Golf Podcast. We look forward to you talking to us about how Deuce has evolved since we were together about 18 to 24 months ago. So welcome.
Thank you. And thank you for having me back. I appreciate it. It's been, like I said, about a year and a half, but definitely so much has happened in the last couple of years, but even in the last 6 months. So really for us, it's just about finding more ways to be able to get the word out and share our story in what we're doing. So right now, to be fair, Deuce, the brand is growing significantly. You know, we've branched out and have now actually 2 divisions of the company. So there's the brand, so there's the hats, belts, and gloves. There's a cigar space that we are in, which is the lifestyle part of what we do. But now we're in tennis. But the exciting piece is that we're now in pickleball. So now we've expanded into the pickleball industry. Yeah, pickleball, man. Everybody's got to get a little smoke in there. So now we're sponsoring a couple of pickleball teams and a couple of people out there who are pickleball players. So we have a few ambassadors out there. So, golf, tennis, pickleball, and lifestyle, that's where we are. And then we have the amateur tour, which we'll talk about, obviously, the majority of this segment. But then we also have another branch that we launched about a year ago called Deuce Promo. And Deuce Promo is basically, there's several segments, but we are a promotional and swag company. So DeucePromo.com has over 100,000 products on there that you can customize. So we have clients from Walmart, Chase Bank, Steve Harvey Foundation, NBC Sports, Morehouse College, and several others who come to us and say, hey, can you handle a lot of our swag and promotional items? Because one, it's a $24 billion industry in the promotional products industry for Black. Where we are, we're less than probably 1/8%, which is sad. But it's an opportunity that we launched because everyone keeps saying, hey, can you help us? So from golf tournaments to corporate gifting and promotional stuff, conferences and conventions, DeucePromo.com can handle all of those needs.
That's outstanding. And clearly the business has evolved. And the beautiful thing is that you've taken entrepreneurship by the bullhorns and really sought to understand where are there opportunities and really leverage the core product and build out. I think that's something that our listeners can completely embrace, whether they're in the corporate space or whether they're looking to do their own thing. And so, as you mentioned, we are talking about the Am Tour. It was birthed out of the Deuce Invitational, which I believe was, to my recollection, at least 2 years in existence. And I know that last April, when you were with us here in Atlanta, some of us, you kind of dropped that seed. And so as the year went on, we became aware of Deuce Am Tour, just like the rest of the following public and playing public as well. So talk to us a little bit about the Am Tour. What was the inspiration behind that? Why did it evolve from the Invitational?
For me, the Am Tour was simply, I feel like what amateurs have been asking for in competitive golf. The game is changing. What we're wearing is changing. What we're doing while we're playing is changing, from the music to cigars and having canned cocktails to cocktails and beers and all the above. So if the game is changing, I felt that the amateur tour space wasn't changing and shifting with it. I've been in the golf travel space for the last 14 years. Mine, obviously, a little bit of COVID for 3 years. And so for traveling and finding golf events, I've done over 250 over the last 12 years. So for me, it was a natural thing to take our friends, our customers, and clients to take them on a journey with us and go travel around the U.S. and create something that I could see it as more of a vibe and an experience. Still in a competitive space, money games, tanning parties, cigars, premium whiskey, fashion clothes, and music, good-looking people who could all contribute to what I consider as an atmosphere that people actually want anyway, but then now create something that's more of a space where everyone can kind of feel comfortable.
Yeah, that's it's a really, really good overview. And it is an experience, a true experience. And for those of you that have not been a part of that, the Tee to Green Golf podcast encourages you to follow the Deuce Am Tour on the internet and then really work hard to align yourself with the event in a city near you. And I'm sure that we'll get into that later on into the podcast. How has support, reception, participation for the tour been thus far? And I know we're annualizing, so you're coming up on 1 year, if I'm not mistaken. So talk to us a little bit about that.
So when we started, I came up with the concept, obviously, last, I would say like winter, spring is when so we had our first actual Deuce Invitational, which was in fall of 2021. That was in Orlando. Then we had one in January in Orlando, and then we did the one where you came.
Mm-hmm.
That was the one that was at Atlanta National in Atlanta.
Right.
And from there, we said it's time to actually take and shift. So we shifted from the Deuce Invitational to now to the Am Tour. With that, we built up this excitement, a lot of content, interviews, podcasts, and things like that. Well, people say, what is this thing? And then larger brands wanted to get on board. The first big brand to get on board was Uncle Nearest Premium Whiskey.
Nice.
And, we're all very familiar with the story of Fawn and her journey, but also the actual backstory and the front story of Uncle Nearest. So to have them on as one of our national partners is a bit of a blessing opportunity. We are the only golf tour that they actually really are part of. They really don't have, because golf is a segment of theirs, but not exactly something that they're in on a daily basis. But they definitely value what we're doing. But from there, we started partnering with PHC, and now that contract is now moved to the side. And then we have the Legends of Basketball, which basically is the National Basketball Retired Players Association.
Mm-hmm.
So every tournament, there will be anywhere between 4 to 6 former NBA players and WNBA players coming to play with us. Golf Pass, Golf Channel came on as well. So if you come in and you play in our tournament, every player gets a 6-month Golf Pass subscription. A 1-year subscription is $100. So we basically are gifting you about $50, but you get 6 months of access for all of the basically. And once you've gone in and got it once, obviously you don't get it unless you're getting it on an annual basis and you play in the next tournament in 12 months. But some exciting news that has come on. So Atlanta-based company, Tally and Twine,
yes,
which is also Black-owned and Frat-owned as well.
Okay.
So yeah, Eric Hayward and his partner came on board about a week ago. So what they're doing with us, well, Tally and Twine is a premium and luxury timepiece company. So
correct.
They actually back to watching. Excuse me. But they've been mentioned in Essence and Ebony and Forbes and pretty bit of everywhere. So the cool thing with our partnership with them is all the winners for all the flights will get a $200 gift card that will actually could be applied to our new watch. And then all players who play and compete in the tournament will get a 10% off of a one-time purchase on the website as well. So now there's value there. Some people say, well, why am I paying $250? Well, this is why.
Yes.
Because getting all this value here. 6 months of Golf Pass, Tally and Twine, $200 and 10% off, which would be another between $20 to $40 to $60, depending on how much you spend. Caddy Cocktails, which is owned by Greg Norman, came on board recently as well. So they have a transfusion cocktail, and they also half and half as well, both vodka-based, but they do have a tequila-based one option as well that's coming out real soon. Honestly, I would say our biggest excitement, which actually we signed the contract yesterday, literally, which is Encore Golf.
Yes.
Or Encore is like now everywhere. So now Encore is now our official golf ball for the Deuce Am Tour. And they put so much skin in the game where every player gets a 1-year subscription to Club Encore. We now have a partnership with them in many different ways, but they get a 1-year subscription, which is $100. They get a sleeve of either Beer Life One or elixirs that they get as a part of that as well. So in your swag bag, when you get there, there's another $12, $15 of value. And then they're going to be putting things in there and gifts for the par threes and the longest drives as well. So again, these are all things that are happening. But one of the cool things about their partnership is now Deuce is going to be the official headwear manufacturer for Encore moving forward. So every time they're looking to do something and they want new fancy hats, Deuce is going to be designing with them in partnership with the executive team there. New hats, Encore on the front, with obviously like Deuce on the side.
Yeah.
But now you have a large company like this partnering with a Black-owned business and putting skin in the game and actually saying, this is what we're willing to do. So now it's, I'm getting business, they're getting business.
Yes.
Things together. And so these are some of the partners. We have Solero Tequila, which is also Black-owned and Frat-owned as well. Ben Carter out of Atlanta. And then we have some other partners who will be coming on board in the next coming weeks. And every destination has its own unique little flair.
Right.
So we got Atlanta, Chicago, LA, DC, Fort Lauderdale, and then we'll come back to Orlando in February.
Yeah, so there's a lot that's going on. And just from that, want to leave the community with a few takeaways. And certainly this is a founded, Black-owned golf tour, but by no means is it less than inclusive. And so what we just heard is our own founder, who has really worked hard to highlight some of the collaborations, cross-cultural collaborations in the game of sport, and at the same time continues to elevate and partner with Black-owned, Black-founded businesses to raise the profile. The other thing I think is attractive here is for those of us that are members of the Divine Nine. I know that we're still working our way through annualizing, but it's clear that Alpha's leading the pack in its partnership and really elevating diversity in golf. But the community, the Tee to Green Golf podcast, encourages the Divine Nine to wrap itself around the Deuce Am Tour. The other thing that I think is important, it is a cross-gender tour as well. And so what I mean by that is Ty has certainly catered to men and women golfers on his tour. And so again, want everybody early on in this episode to really get excited about some of the really, really positive things that have come from Deuce, and specifically the Deuce Am Tour. A lot of good stuff. Ty, what we know is that you're probably 2.5 weeks away from the Atlanta event. And if I'm not mistaken, that event is on December the 23rd. April the 23rd. I'm sorry, April the 23rd. I'm glad we corrected that on April the 23rd. Talk to us about that event, where we are in that process, how much more needs to be done, and certainly Tee to Green Golf Podcast is here to help you get that word out.
So the event is going to be at Bears Best Atlanta. We all know when you hear about a Bears Best, this is a collection of Jack Nicklaus's favorite holes, depending on how he blends them together from around the world, to be fair. And so Bears Best is from LT to Steve Harvey, they all have their tournaments there at Bears Best. So it's a place where, the ladies from Lady and the Caddy, so Sandy and Cindy, they host their event there, and so many others, even our good friend George Fleming. This is a venue that has honestly said, you know what, we want events,
Right.
but they've actually found a way and brought a lot of, minority-owned organizations and Black celebrities and influencers to come bring their events to their location, which I think kudos to Ian and his team there and Jenny for doing that. We are excited. The field's going to be 72. We don't like to have 100 and something people out there. It's just way too much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Bears Best already is a long track and challenging. Right. A 6-hour round of golf is not going to be, something everyone's going to be excited about. One thing that we do have is so just so people understand, there's a total of, this is an amateur tour. So it's not a charity event, although there is a charitable, part of the tour, but you're playing your own ball, tee to green, and it's flighted. So that means we have 4 flights that are competitive and 1 flight that's non-competitive. Why? Because we have 0 to 7 handicappers, 7 to 14, 14 to 19, and then 19 to 24. And then over 25 and above, yes, you are competitive, but 25 handicap, 30 handicap, yeah, you may get lucky and hit a skin. And we want you to come and be a part of that. So it's four flights competitive, 1 non-competitive. And this is the first tournament that we're testing out our 2-man better ball. So we have some folks out there actually playing as a 2-man. So it's 2-man better ball.
Okay.
Allows you still to play your ball tee to green. You can still be a part of the skins pot. But you got to think, you got 40 people out there at $100 in. That's $4,000. If there's 8 skins, that's a nice little bit of change.
Right.
Money back from the tournament and some, and go shopping afterwards. So I'll go to Deuce's website and go buy some stuff. How about that?
Listen, we can do both.
Yeah, how about that? We can do both. So it's for us, Atlanta special. We know the community and the culture around Atlanta is unique and different from a lot of other cities. So we're expecting the culture to come out and support from, the fraternities and sororities to also the golf groups, from Brothers on Par, Drunk by the Turn, Ball Strikers. There's Brothers on Par golf. I think it's Brothers in Golf Foundation or Brothers in Golf Association. So that's like Julius Mullins and some of the guys, Therese and those guys. So we want to see everybody there, and we do believe we'll see everyone there in Atlanta to experience a special day in the afternoon.
Yeah, and listen, if you're in Metro Atlanta, or the outlying areas, including parts of South Carolina and Alabama, and you have not registered for the April 23rd golf event at Bears Best in Metro Atlanta, I would encourage you to do that upon listening to this episode. I know that registration is going fast, as is the case in Atlanta. And so don't want you to miss out on more than just a round of golf. It is truly an experience and one that will definitely inspire you to come back whenever and wherever you can for the tour. Ty, let's stay with the event. We know now that there are a number of sponsors involved. You talked about charitable events. Talk to us about some of the outcomes. In each market is different. And I think you alluded to that earlier. When you think about this year's event, what are some of the goals, some of the outcomes that you want for the event, for the participants, and for the brand?
I try to keep things simple and sometimes in threes. For me, I want people to understand that there are, I was on a panel this summer with the U.S. Black Chamber of Commerce, and when I got there, and before they called my name, they had Black-owned sports leagues up on the screen, and I wasn't paying attention, and this guy elbowed me and said, I said, "You right?" And I looked up there, and for the first time I realized, I was like, this is a Deuce Am Tour is a Black-owned sports league. It's a Black-owned golf tour. And the importance of that, I mean, it kind of got me a little emotional because I'm realizing what I'm building. I'm actually building a table here. This is bigger than just me and, farting around. It's like I'm building a table where I can employ people, I can keep people happy, I'm creating relationships and networking. I'm helping brands come and to grow their audience and their customer and consumer base. So it's bigger than just, having a golf tournament. This is much more than that. So for me, that's one of the important things. Golf is about networking and building relationships. A good friend of mine shared with me last year, relationships are the new currency. Well, if that's the case, then that's what this amateur tour should be about. So we made it so that, because typically you get to a golf tournament, you check in, you go to the range, you're kind of hyper focused, you see some mutual friends and, high fives and fist bumps, a little, money exchange on some skin pot and some skins, front back in overalls, stuff like that. But you don't have time to go mingle until like afterwards. So we actually blended in a parent party the night before,
Correct.
which is like a sip and smoke kind of an experience. In Atlanta, we're going to be at the Monticello in Marietta. Thank you, Bob Adams, for hosting us and also being a part of the experience. Other people know him as Fairway Bob because he don't miss fairways.
Right.
But it's creating a tribe around the brand where people can feel like I'm a part of that and I want it to grow. And you could also be a member of the Deuce Amateur Tour and get other benefits as it relates to, being a part of it as well, which you get other things discounted, things and gifts and things that you wouldn't normally get if you were just playing. But we want people to play in Atlanta, make time to get in your schedule, play in Chicago, go to LA, go to DC, go to Fort Lauderdale, actually, plan your golf trips around the Deuce Amateur Tour. We're either playing to be fair, we're playing either on a Sunday or a Monday, most likely. Actually, the one in Chicago is going to be on Juneteenth.
Right.
At a beautiful track called Ruffled Feathers, which is out in the south suburbs. But for us, it's how do we create things for our culture? But again, this is an amateur tour that happens to be owned by a Black guy, but it's for everyone to come and enjoy themselves, network, and just be a part of something that's actually moving forward and not sideways.
So
I think,
So let's not leave that response without dialing in on a few things that you just said. And so there is a membership and affiliation with Deuce that's much broader than just an event. So talk to us about that membership.
So the membership is something that we created because we felt that it adds value to being a part of the Deuce Amateur Tour, the U.S. Amateur Tour, the Grant, all the other ones as well. They all have somewhat of a membership built into it. So some of them you can't even play in a tournament unless you are a member. This is our first year, so we didn't want to block that out, but we want people to feel like once they start getting a sense of like, this is actually something I can get on board, I do want to be a member because I know what I get from being a member and all the other benefits. So it happens 6 events in 12 months, every other month, for folks who have a flexible schedule, hop on an airplane, see us, come hang out, if not, just follow us on Instagram and just communicate and be a part of the online social platforms.
Let's also, and I know for you and I, we'll go back home, and you mentioned Juneteenth, so we'll be in Chicago, and I can only imagine what the environment and activities leading up to that will look like.
I'm coming home with the fire, baby.
Not only for you, but I might be on the outskirts of everything that's going on. Give us a rundown of where the tour has been in 2023 and where the tour will go for the remainder of 2023. And what I want to do here, Ty, is again, we've talked about Sunday, Monday. I want to give the audience, the Tee to Green Golf Hop podcast community, an opportunity to plan, right?
Right.
And it's not out of reason for us to be able to do that in support of the Deuce Am Tour. So talk to us about that.
So we have the dates right now we're going to obviously be in Atlanta on the 23rd of April. We're going to be in Chicago at Ruffled Feathers on the 19th of June, which is Juneteenth. And it's also now federal holidays. So what's great about being in Chicago is you got a big concert happening. Good friend of mine from high school, Dave Jeffs, got this huge event going on in Hyde Park called the Hyde Park Fest. And from 2 Chainz to Lauryn Hill and everybody in between are going to be performing that weekend. And then it's Father's Day weekend as well. Now, for dads, look, I know we want to be with our kids. If you're in Chicago, obviously easy, but we don't want you flying out of town to leave your kids back home and spend time with them. But I know you love golf, but, kids first, family first. But if you're in town, obviously, and can drive in, we'd love to have you. We're going to be in Los Angeles at Spanish Hills. Good friends of mine, Chris Spencer and Anthony Anderson will be hosting, along with a very, very close friend of mine and big Deuce supporter, Michael Ralph, who most folks know him as Hackers Golf. He's also going to be a host. So we have some good friends, now that this is relationship thing. So, Chris said, look, I'm here, I'm for you, whatever you need. And we're actually being hosted at his home course where he's a member, which is Spanish Hills, which is up a bit north of the city, but a beautiful track that overlooks Los Angeles from the hills. So going to be beautiful. Then we're heading to DC. We're working on the final details of DC, so I can't share where yet, but in December, if you want to plan, because all you folks up north, it's going to be cold in December. Come on down to South Florida, to Fort Lauderdale. We're going to be at Weston Hills Golf Club, which is in Weston/Fort Lauderdale, that area, and fly into Miami or Fort Lauderdale and get there in 20 to 30 minutes. But that's actually where the Honda Classic was hosted before. It was at the PGA National.
Okay.
So playing on the tour course, which just got a multi-million-dollar renovation last year. So we're going to be joining that. So plan that thing out. If you can't make all of them, fine. Come make some, or one, but just come be a part of what we're building here.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, if you're not taking notes on that piece of the episode, then certainly you can follow the tour on Deuce Am Tour's website. And I believe it's deuceamtour.com. Is that correct? That is correct. Yahtzee. Okay, good. One of the things that you talked about early in our time together today was how the brand has evolved. And I know that in my conversations with you going back to last year, one of the things that I picked up on is your use of the word lifestyle. And so it is evolved well beyond golf. Let's talk about Deuce as a golf lifestyle brand. There are multiple options, casual, passionate golf fan, but I'll let you dive into the range of options for us to stay connected to Deuce.
So as a lifestyle brand, we have to do things that are not typical for what people still kind of have us in this golf space. But that's fine because that's where our roots are grounded. But when I talk about lifestyle, I'm talking about being a tastemaker. So you enjoy, depending on your cigar taste, if you like more of a Connecticut or Nicaragua or Dominican or Cuban, depending, what you're looking for, your ring gauge and the strength and the depth of the cigar. We have everything from lighters and torches to cigar pouches that range from $150 to $300. All of our lifestyle products and our leather products are all made in Morocco. So these are not China pressed leather that, typically obviously you're going to find Louis Vuitton is, you like, it's a brand, but it's vegan leather. Our stuff is actually, pressed, right from Morocco. So you got stuff like this. This is our Gordo, and it's huge, but this is actually thick. You can smell the leather, but you can put 5, 6 cigars in here, your lighter, your torch, your keys, your cell phone, and you can find those right on our website. And if you come to the event in Atlanta, there's going to be a pop-up shop, and you'll be able to actually purchase some of those things there. But our thing is take Deuce where you are. I made a list yesterday, and I've been able to put Deuce on 30 different types of products. And
Nice.
I built the brand initially as a golf brand. And then I realized that Deuce is just as unique and individualized as Titleist, as Nike, as Vuitton, as Gucci, as any other brand that's out there that you spend $1 or $5,000 for. So yeah, we put Deuce on decanters, on hats, cigar cases, lighters, torches, matchbooks, business card holders, hats, belts, gloves, you name it, t-shirts, polo shirts, sweaters, sweatshirts. There really hasn't been much that we haven't been able to find that we can actually use the brand, but just know that the brand has capabilities to grow beyond just what people typically put us sometimes in a box for.
Yeah, that is absolutely outstanding and exciting to hear, because that clearly means that Deuce's capacity right now is untapped. And so it's a perfect time for all of us to dial in maybe a little deeper than we had previously. Those pouches, do they come in black and old gold? Just asking for a friend.
That's it. Where is my black and gold one? It's around here somewhere in the office, but yes.
So the answer is yes.
They do. Yeah, actually, you know what? I do. And I have one left, Vic, and it's an old gold, like metallic gold. And
Okay.
It has your name on it, brother. I got some left in inventory, big hugs around you. So I will make sure that that's shipped to you. But I'm going to be in town next week as well.
Yep.
Black Sports Business Symposium. So maybe there's an opportunity for us to catch up there in Atlanta. That's going to be at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So I'll be there for a few days.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds really good.
But yes, they do come in black and gold.
I'm just asking for a friend, a lot of friends. Matter of fact,
yeah.
When we think about, again, I probably partners and sponsors. One of the most notable additions since 2020 is that group. And I know that you touched on it earlier in the episode, but I like to have you reinforce or underscore that again, because truly in many cases, advocates, or in this case, we call them sponsors or partners, really give you a business owner, the capacity to expand the brand and boost its potential. So can you talk a little bit more, or just take this moment to highlight who is hitched themselves to Deuce right now to make expansion possible, not just in the current state, but going forward?
I would say there's two, and that's Uncle Nearest and Encore.
Yep.
They both have come in and, said, how can I help? And it's from them, but again, you have to create, and I was listening to Earn Your Leisure, which is, if you don't follow these guys, you're missing out on life. So you want to learn how to grow your business or personal wealth. But, one of the things they talked about, if you are the underdog in a relationship as relates to contractor or vendor and supplier, you got to find a way to be able to what can I do for you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's got to be a win-win here. And even though, let's say Walmart comes to me and says, hey, we want you to do something, make customized sweatshirts. Well, you coming to me for something. Now, what am I coming to Walmart and saying, okay, now, what can you do for us? How can you help us as a Black-owned business to be able to get more eyeballs? But in this case, Encore said, well, we're going to invest in your tournament. But then we're also going to make sure that you benefit as well. So now it's a two-way street. Now there'll be Encore swag. They're going to be using DeucePromo.com and our promotionals company to do like their tumblers and their tees and giveaways and promotional items. So now everybody wins, right?
Right.
But here's the thing I didn't share is that now there's going to be Encore collab with Deuce as it relates to golf balls. So now you'll be able to go to Deuce's website and you can go to golf balls and you'll be able to purchase customized Encore golf balls that'll have Deuce's name on it. It'll be an Encore golf ball and it'll say Encore, but on the other side, it's going to say Deuce.
Yeah,
you'll be able to go to our site, buy them, and you can go to their site as well, and we'll have a special landing page that you can go for participants in the Deuce Am Tour and members. So
that is outstanding.
You got to create relationships, where people say, look, how can I help you? And then you got to say, well, how can I help you? Because they need stuff that I have. So by me creating more than just a golf brand or a a social brand. Now I have a whole nother company and business that I'm able to actually do more business with other people. So when people say, we really don't need that right now, I have a whole nother business model. I can say, what about this? And
one of the things that I'd like for you to do right now is to raise the consciousness of our listeners in how you have impacted the golf industry, how the footprint has gone from a toe in the space to maybe a foot in the space with clear upside to have both feet in the space. And I've known you for some time. And so I consider you to be a trailblazer. I consider you as someone that has had tactful but courageous conversations with golf power, if you will. You told us that you've been doing this for 14 years, really, in this space. So talk to us about how the mountain has been moved a little bit, particularly for people of color, or more specifically, Black entrepreneurs like yourself.
So that's a big one. But what I do know is this. When I started the business, I was on a podcast with a good friend of mine, Kevin Peck, and 5 other, and these are professionals in golf. And at that time, I was just doing golf travel. And they said, what Black-owned business do we know of that we can go to their website, we can go to a store, or we can go purchase something from, whether it be a hat, belt, glove, golf ball, anything. And we all were sitting there dumbfounded, and the answer was, we don't know of any. And this is summer, June 2019. Now, 3 months moving forward, Eastside and I both started both of our businesses around the same time, around October, November of 2019. And these 2 young brothers have done something magnificent that we would have never even imagined, and they are on celebrities. The mayor for Atlanta got on an Eastside golf shirt at the Masters a couple of days ago from CP3 and all these. They got a little pop-up shop in Japan. What they've done is beyond your imagination and mine, to be fair. But are we competing against each other? No.
Right.
Because we're not in the same space.
Right.
we're in golf industry, but very different as it relates to like our roads, you know. We're both are very organic. And then Wayne Birch with Trap Golf, he jumped in and joined in forces with the previous owner or still owner of Trap Golf. And then he and Roger Steele kind of came in and gave Trap Golf a jolt. So then you had three, and then Blackballed. Then my other good friend Al Quarles from Buck and Fogey jumped in, and Cloud9. Now there's close to like 40 Black-owned golf brands
Nice.
that have like come alive through COVID, and it's just amazing to watch. And I watch them, and some of them call me and ask questions, and I don't care. I'll give you the keys and tell you, like, because they say, well, how the hell did you get into PGA Tour Superstore?
Right.
How'd you get into Worldwide Golf Shops and Edward Watts? How'd you get this thing with Troon? You know, how'd you get celebrities to wear your stuff? How do you get ambassadors and these NIL contracts with these college players? You know, that's really, you know, it's being authentic, just like Esai says. You just still got to be authentic in who you are and let people just buy into the guy, you know, and believe in it. So I do believe that where we've come to where we are, and shit, in another 3 years, maybe there's 80 Black-owned golf brands, you know, and not all 40 will, you know, last.
Right.
Many of them have come, showed up, and was like, this is harder than I thought it was. You know, like this is a full-time job.
Right.
I mean, when you look at it, a lot of those guys, if out of the 40, I don't know, and I'm guessing 5 of them, this is their full-time job.
Right. Right.
They're not an engineer or a consultant for off the end, you know, for, you know, this company or that company, or a teacher or a professor. This is like, I wake up and I go to sleep to this thing. This is my full-time job. It has been my full-time job to be in golf, been a full-time golf entrepreneur for 14 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know if there's anybody else out there who's been doing that. That's like, this is their full-time job. I have not had a regular job in 14 years where I'm getting a check every 2 weeks from some corporate company with corporate benefits and et cetera. So this is a grind.
And that's it.
Everybody not built for it, but I welcome you to the space if you got it.
Well, and I think the beauty of that is, one, your ability to sustain over that period of time. I know, and clearly the rest of the Tee to Green Golf podcast community has learned that you have persevered. You have multiplied yourself and pivoted, and 14 years later, you're still here. I think the other piece of that answer that's profound is that there are about 40 Black entrepreneurs. And so it's clear that the door that was once sealed shut is clearly open, but there is an upside to it being pushed open. And so we'll continue to follow you, connect ourselves to this evolution in the industry, and find an opportunity to support many other businesses similar to yours. We talked about locations for the rest of 2023. One of the things that I want to make sure of, and I try to do this in every episode, is how can we stay connected to Deuce and or the Deuce Am Tour, whether that be the internet or some other social media that's leading the way. Help our listeners with that connection.
So for Deuce the brand, honestly, the blessing is that we put out enough content. I've indexed our websites well enough so that it's a lot easier to find all of our brands. Just go to Google and type in Deuce. You'll see that, you know, you type in Deuce and golf or Deuce and something else. Typically, we're going to show up because all the keywords, you know, if it's a hat, belt, glove, cigar, something, you're going to find us on. So Deuce.co is our website for the Deuce company. The Deuce Am Tour is deuceamtour.com. The promotional products business is deucepromo.com. All of those are easy to find. Same on social media, on Instagram and Facebook. TikTok, I didn't get on it, but looks like it doesn't matter because they're about to get head chopped off anyway at some point sometime soon because the government doesn't like what's happening. So maybe we'll have to get on Snapchat, which I have no interest in that either. I got grown folks out here, but maybe I'll hire a teenager as an intern.
Right.
That's what he wants to do for his day. But you can find us for the most part on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. And you can find us all there. So deuce.am.tour, deuce.promo, and then deuce.co. Exactly what our website and our domains are is where you can find us on social media as well. And so for me, it's doing our best to create content that resonates with our audience and creating quality product that when you get it, you're like, at least I supported Black-owned business.
Right. It's bigger than that. It is bigger than that.
Yeah. So when you have celebrities, you have Mariah Stackhouse, who's on tour, and she's wearing our stuff, and you have others who are wearing it. They know that it's quality product. It's not. We did not put our brand on someone else's hat.
Perfect.
I'm gonna say that again. Everything that you see from us, it's us. We designed it, we manufactured it. We did not put our brand on a hat that was made from somewhere else and just stitched it on. This is us. Our belts, our hats, our gloves, these are ours. Lonzo Mourning designed our golf glove, So and he loves it because he shares it with all of his friends because he's got a hand that's really like this.
Right. Absolutely.
And I'm the only, to be fair, only AAA Cabretta leather golf glove that's in 3X right now. So if you got a big ASS hand,
right,
3X, go to deuce.co and type in 3X on the golf gloves, and I got some pretty golf gloves for you that you can find. So Dr. J, Alonzo Mourning, and a bunch of other NBA and former NFL players all wearing Deuce gloves. Why? Because quality, it looks good, and it plays well, and it's durable.
Enough said. Earlier in one of the responses, you gave us a little nugget, and that was the collaboration between Encore Golf and Deuce for golf balls. We've talked a lot today about things that you're doing, your collaborations, partnerships that you've brokered. Are there any additional projects that you're able to share that we should be mindful of going forward? Or just let us know, stay tuned, and at some point the announcement will hit the airwaves.
If you are local to Orlando and you are around on May 13th, I am partnering with, again, another fraternity alpha man. His name is Chima. Chima owns Duke and Dane. Yeah, baby. You know what I'm saying? Look, keep it in the family, So Duke and Dane, Black-owned whiskey company. It's salted caramel whiskey. I put it in my coffee. I put it in lemonade with lemonade. I blend it with a few other things, but it's an amazing product. We're going to be doing a very luxury lifestyle exclusive event on the #1 rooftop location in Orlando on May 13th. It's the Saturday before Mother's Day. And it's at the Grand Bohemian. And the venue is called Altira. Altira means where the beautiful people are.
Yeah.
I was just saying there's gonna be a lot of beautiful people on the rooftop enjoying themselves and experience. But for us, we are working on just fine-tuning who we are, where we are, and who we're with. And, we only want authentic people that really want to work with us.
Yep.
Now, look, real talk, not everyone is a fan of Deuce. Not everyone's a fan of DeLavallade. But, there's no one really loves Steve Jobs. They said he was an ass. But look what he's done for our life. We wake up and go to sleep and listen and do everything in our lives because Steve Jobs was a pioneer and did things that were a bit uncomfortable for folks in the beginning. But fast forward, we all say thank you without saying thank you, but he sacrificed his life and his health for all of us.
Right.
I don't plan on sacrificing my life for my health. Man, let that be a fact. I got things to do. But the people who are doing the most are typically not the people who are liked as much. And a lot is because people don't get the heart, nerve, and sinew that goes into actually sacrificing your time, your family, and and things that you love to do, but you can't because you got something else to do. So, for all the people who don't understand or do understand the life of an entrepreneur, it's a grind. I applaud everyone who comes into the space, but just know when you're walking in, you got to be 2 feet in the room. You can't put your pinky toe in because you got to be all in or not at all because it's going to show.
Right.
It's going to show in your effort. It's going to show in your tenacity, and it's going to show in the execution of whatever it is that you're putting together. So, I welcome all to the space. I think that all brands who are big and small deserve opportunities. I will say that, corporate America still, even though on paper and white papers, they still say they have a corporate responsibility to work with Black-owned brands. And I'll say this is my nugget, right? We all want to be able to be given opportunities to work with big organizations and big companies as Black-owned businesses. Create a product or service that creates that's a need or a want for them. It doesn't have to be like you're the only one in the world. You just have to be able to actually provide a service, whether it be technology, whether it be something that helps you tie your shoestrings better, or whether it's something that's a different kind of a service or as a third party. Just be unique in that space, but then give them a reason to work with you.
Right.
And so a lot of them they don't give us a chance to do this. Well, you got to actually make sure they know about you.
Right.
Go run to the top of the hill and ring that bell, because if you're the best thing I've never heard of it, you're exactly that. And if I don't know about you, I'm like, damn, I wish I would have known about your company 6 months ago. $1 million contract.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dang. So open your doors, open your minds, and go network. If you're not networking, you're not working, especially as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, well said. Well said. Interestingly, and not to get too far off path, but I posted a little video snippet on LinkedIn about professional networking earlier this week. And so it's nice to hear you underscore that again as value proposition to growing your business. Last question, we know how busy you are, but I like to ask this of guests on the Tea Degree in Golf podcast. How can we continue to support you?
There's an Instagram meme and a little, this is more of a voice. I think you already said, and I'm gonna be very frank, buy my shit. You wonder why you not doing this? Because you didn't share my stuff.
Right.
Likes don't pay bills and keep lights on and keep my child's tuition paid at Howard University. But to be fair, it's don't support with, you can support without buying stuff as well. You can support by being an advocate. You don't have to buy things all the time just to actually advocate for a business that you know the owner or you believe in their mission. You could share it. You can say, hey, you could be somewhere and you can be like, you know what, there's a company that I know of. You could be in a boardroom and say, well, before we do that, haven't we always used this company? Is there, can I present another business that provides the same service and or product that I know the owner? Can I give him a call?
Right.
Like, be an advocate for businesses. If you want to be an advocate for Deuce, go to the website, find something. You don't wear hats, buy a visor. You don't smoke cigars, buy something else or buy it for someone else.
Right. Okay.
But
Point.
there you go.
Yeah, very, very well stated. And listen, Ty, we thank you for coming on this afternoon. It was a pleasure the first time, excited about this time. And we know that I may see you next week, but clearly the rest of Metropolitan Atlanta and those who choose to come in and have registered will see you on April the 22nd for the pairing party, April 23rd for the actual event. And so from the Tee to Green Golf podcast to you, we wish you continued success. Keep grinding. We are there to continue supporting you as best as we can. And as we always say, hit it straight from Tee to Green. Thank you, and we'll talk to you soon. Hey, everybody. Production support for the Tee to Green Golf podcast is given by Canon Studios in Holly Springs, Georgia, and by Dominic Fiore of the Digital Audio Recording Arts Department at the University of St. Francis. As we always say, hit it straight from Tee to Green. We are out.